Hello everybody, my name is Sarah, and in today's video we're going to learn how to make this. This is single crochet. It is a rear view mirror hanger. It's a little cactus for your car. It's pretty easy to make. I would think that if you're a beginner you could probably make this. It is just single crochet. It is very low sew. The only thing you're going to sew is the dirt onto here, and I will show you how to do it so where you don't see any brown on the edges. So stick around for this and let's get into it. Okay, so the supplies you guys are going to need is you're going to need some sort of color for your pot. I'm going to use this variegated yarn. I really like it. I think it's going to look nice. And I am using a 4-ply worsted weight yarn for all of them. I think this is I Heart this brand. I Heart this yarn from Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to use this color for my pot. You need a brown for your dirt. A green for your cactus. This is like a soft green. The camera honestly isn't even picking up the right color, but a green for your cactus. I said brown for your dirt. A pink for your flower. You don't need this much of it. You're just going to be sewing it in, and this is actually optional. So you are also going to need some fiber fill. You're going to need some for the pot and for the cactus. You are going to need a darning needle for when we sew in the dirt and like when you sew in the ends, you know. You're going to need a stitch marker for some of it. You are going to need a pair of scissors, obviously. And one thing you might not realize that you need is a tape measure, because the strap of this is going to be 16 inches. So it's good to have one of these handy so that you know how long your strap is going to make, because we don't want it to hang down too long around your rearview mirror. I mean, I googled it. It said they usually hang down 8 inches, so 16 inches for a total. So let's get into it. Grab your pot color, and and in case I almost forgot, you're also going to need a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. This is the one I use. I just use a pad on it. It helps with my hands. So 4.5 crochet hook. I believe that's everything. Okay, so we're going to start off making the pot. And for this, we're going to be working in the rounds, not the spirals. So I don't think you're going to need the stitch marker, but if you do, keep it near. So if you are unable to do a magic ring, I suggest doing a chain of 5 and then connecting it into the first chain to make your ring. But I'm going to go ahead and show you about the magic ring right here, because it used to confuse me, so I'm hoping maybe I can make it clear for you. You're going to take the yarn and you're going to make an X right here, and then you're going to hold that with your finger. This yarn that's connected to the skein, because this is our tail right here, this piece is going to go in the back, okay? Now you're going to take your hook and you're going to go under and over, and you're going to hook that piece and bring it back underneath that, okay? And this is where our loop is now. Now, what used to confuse me was right here at this point. I know that this tail is what makes this hole smaller. I knew that. But this part is coming off of this way, and we can't crochet like that. So I was always confused, and it's really as simple as bringing it over here. That's literally as easy as it is. And I don't know why I made it complicated, but that's all there is to it. So now this is what's connected to my skein. This is the tail right there. So you just got to bring it over that way, and just here's my loop. So we're going to chain 1, and we are going to do 6 single crochet into this ring. And I am crocheting around the tail. That way there's less sewing at the end. And I suggest you do that too. 2. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to pull this tight. And we are going to be working in the rounds for the pot. So we're going to slip stitch into this first chain right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into this first single crochet is what I meant. So go in there and you're going to slip stitch. And I chain 1 just to get to the length, and I always ignore this. This does not exist. This is just to fill in a gap, to bring us up to our height that we need, and to make sure there's no hole. That's what I do that for. So for round 2, we are going to increase the entire round. So that is doing 2 single crochets in each of the stitches, and you should have 12 at the end. So 1 in the same stitch. Okay, I wonder if you guys can hear my dishwasher. If you hear anything, that's just my dishwasher. So it almost looks like this is a stitch right here, but trust me, that is the slip stitch that we made. So let's go ahead and count, make sure we have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch into right here, and sorry if I move off camera, into the top of this single crochet right there. Chain 1, and now we're going to start round 3. Okay, so round 3 is another increase round. So we're going to start with a single crochet of 1 and make sure you're getting it into this first crochet right there. So this is the first stitch, right? This is the top right there. So 1 and then an increase into this next one. So that's 2 single crochets in that one. 1 in the next. 2 in the next. I think the garbage man just got here, so I apologize if you hear that banging. So 1 increase, 1 increase, and we're going to continue this all the way around until we reach the end, and I will meet you back here. Okay, so one thing you'll notice about me is I always start with a single crochet and I end on the increases. So that is just what I like to do. So at the end of this round, we should have, round 3 is 18. Sorry, I had to look at my notes. So let's go ahead and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, yeah. See, I'm using a variegated yarn, so that stitch was almost a little tough to see, but I got it. And so this next round, for round 4, is another increase round. So we're going to keep doing almost the same exact thing. We're going to go in here, we're going to slip stitch and chain 1. And now we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So again, be really careful about where you're going in that first single crochet. So this is the first stitch right here, and this is the top of it. So right in there. So that's 1, 2, and an increase. And go 1, 2 in the next, and an increase. And you're going to keep doing this all the way around. 1, 2, increase. And I will meet you back here at the end. Okay, so I'm finishing out the round with my increase. So by the end of this round, this is round 4, and you should have 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay. So we're going to slip stitch into the top of the last round. Top of the stitch, remember? Right there. Okay, so now we're going to work our last increase round, and this is round 5. So we're going to get up to our length. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do 3 single crochets and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase. And we're going to continue this all the way around. 2, 3, and an increase. And we're going to continue this all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. And at the end of this round, you should have 30 stitches. So at the end of this round, at the end of round 5, you should have 30 stitches. So go ahead and count. Okay. All right. So for this round, this next round, do not slip stitch like normal. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the back loop right here. So if you've followed me before in any of my other tutorials, you know, sometimes I work in the front loop and the back loop. Okay. So instead of going through the top of this whole stitch right here, we're just going to go through the back loop of this. So just slip stitch into the back loop of that first stitch of the round. Okay. And now we're going to chain 1. And so for the rest of this round, we are going to be working into the back loops only. And we're going to single crochet for the entire round. So we're going to single crochet in that. Now in the next one, just in the back loop only, we're going to single crochet. There are no more increases. This is just to create a nice little foundation for the bottom of our pot. So make sure that you're just doing this very carefully, and you are single crocheting all the way around in the back loops only, and I will meet you right back here. Okay, so one more, the last one right there, single crochet. Now we're going to slip stitch in to the entire stitch of this, the first stitch of the last round. So right there, you're going to do your slip stitch. Now we're going to start to work up the length of the pot. So we're going to chain 1 and then single crochet. What we're going to do, this is round 7 through 12, are going to be single crochets all the way around. So what I like to do right about here, I usually single crochet about 3, and I'm going to take my stitch marker and I'm going to mark the front of the first stitch. Now in this variegated yarn, it's not that easy to see, but it's right there because I want to know where the first round of the workup is. But this is round 7 right here. So that's attached right there, and I will show you how to go around that stitch marker. Just pretend like it's not even there. So I will meet you all the way back around at the end of this round and show you how to do that. So just single crochet, no increases through the entire stitch all the way around, and I'll meet you back right here. Okay, so I just did the last single crochet of that round. Now we're going to slip stitch into the top of this. Just pretend like that's not even there. Slip stitch. Okay. Chain 1. So we are going to slip stitch into the top, and it might be kind of hard to see right there, right there. make sure I get it this time. Right there. Single crochet 1 into the next one. So as you can see right here, this is the bottom. It should start taking shape. You can shape it out however you need. Sometimes this will go down, you just push it up. And so this was row 7, this is row 8, and I will meet you back at the end of row 12. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'll meet you back right around here. So at this point, this is probably where I'm going to sew in our tail from the beginning. So I'm going to turn this inside out. And you see this circle right here? This is where we're going to pull it nice and tight. And we are going to go into the loops right here. I'm just going to pull this through. I'm going to go through a few of them. Try to work my way around this circle right here. And I'm just working through one stitch at a time. My stitches are pretty tight. There we go. I'll go through 2. Let's see. I go through one more. And I'm going to call that good. Okay. Now you can take this out if you used it. We have our rows. I'm going to close this out. Where is my hook? Okay. I'm going to close this out. Actually, I had one more stitch. There we go. I'm going to close that out with the slip stitch. And now we're going to work on our strap. Let me redo that. There we go. So to do our strap, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to single crochet 3. 1, 2, 3. And now you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work. And you're going to single crochet 3 again into these 3 stitches that you just did. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, turn your work, and then you're going to single crochet 3. And you are going to do this until this strap is 16 inches long. So what I always do when I'm done, what I will usually end up doing is I will measure from right there, the tip of this, and I will lay my strap out all the way until you get to 16 inches. Okay? And I will meet you back at the 16 inches and I will show you exactly how I do that. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to chain 1, 1, 2, 3. See? And you can see it working up. So that's going to be easy. So you're just going to do that whole thing and then I will meet you back and we're going to crochet it into the other end and I will show you how to do that. Okay, so let's see. I want you guys to be able to see all of this. So this is how I'm measuring this. I bring this over here to the 1 inch and it's at 16 inches, so I know that I have crocheted enough. Okay, so this we'll want to twist, but we're going to make sure it's straight right here, okay? And make sure that's all the way straight. And so keeping it straight like this, you're going to fold this in half. Still straight. And about right there, so let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 13 stitches. If you want to count. And if you want to sew this in, you can, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet it in, and I want this to be on the inside. So what I'm going to do, and it's okay if that curls up there, but we know that this is straight. We're going to put this like that, and we're going to match it up with these stitches right here. Okay. I'm going to grab my hook. Keeping my string over here, let's bring it back over. And if you want to line this up again, you can. About right there. And I'm going to, we're going to slip stitch these in there. So in case you didn't see that, in case I was off camera, I'm going to take this and I'm going to go through this stitch of the basket and then go through this, the top stitch of the strap, pull through both of them, and take this loop that's already on there and pull through the loop that I have. And I'm going to do that again. So through the basket, I keep calling it a basket, it's a pot. Through the strap, I'm going to pull yarn through both of those and then pull it through this loop. Do it one more time. This is the third one. Go through both of those. And at this point, if you just want to make sure, double check that your strap is straight, pull this loop out so we don't lose it. And my strap is straight, connected. There's no, see, this little twist kind of might freak you out, but you're good. Okay, so, and when you did that, you can kind of look and see how you like it. Okay, and we're going to, I'm going to show you how we're going to just secure this. We're at this point, you're just going to yarn over and pull through that loop right there. And then you're going to leave a tail for sewing. Okay, leave a nice little long enough tail for sewing. And then we're just going to pull this through. And then I will show you how to sew this in right now. Okay, so I've threaded my needle. And if you look at this side, you might not like that. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do, if you can tell, like it looks loose, even though we know this is secure with this knot, I'm going to go back up into this stitch of the strap and pull my yarn through. And then I'm going to go back down. And you could probably avoid doing all this if you just strapped it all, if you sewed it all in from the beginning. But yeah, we're just going to sew in the ends of this. I did that again. I'm going to go through a different stitch on the basket this time. There we go. And see, and that tightens it up real nice. And so now I'm actually going to tie this into a knot right here. So I'm going to go through the top of that. Don't want that loop to close. And see how it's kind of loose right here? So I'm going to pull this really tight. Which one is it? It's the bottom one. So pull that. And I'm going to hold that really tight right here because that's the one that we want to keep tension on. I'm going to go through. And pull this nice and tight. Now look at that, it's perfect. Okay, now we're just gonna hide this. Just gonna go through a couple stitches, and you don't need to hide it perfectly. You just need to get it down far enough to where it'll be hidden by the dirt. So just go through a few different stitches to get it down the length right there. But make sure you're staying in the back and not the front. Okay, that should be good. Might go down a little further. Let's see. Yeah, about right there. Should be good after that. Now I'm going to snip this off. And you don't have to snip it super close. Like I said, it's going to be hidden by the dirt. Okay, now we have a little basket. Isn't that cute? And this is about the length, so it should be about 8 inches when you hang it down. And we are going to now work on the dirt. So get out your brown yarn and I will meet you right back here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do a magic ring one more time. So this is the tail, and we're going to take it and we're going to make the X right here. Right there. And I'm going to hold that with my thumb. Now this part is going to our skein. This is our tail. And we're going to go under and over, and we're going to hook that and bring it back under there. And this is our loop for our hook. Now our hand is on the tail, and we're going to make this a little bit smaller. And we're going to bring this is going to our skein now, and I'm just going to bring it over. And that is really what helped me. It was just bringing the string over. I don't know why I made it so complicated, but there you go. Now we are going to do our chain one. And I don't ever have the slip stitch and the chain one. I'm going to like not put that in my pattern, but that is what I do. And like I said, I always go into the first single crochet and then I end in a increase. But right here, like I said, we're going to single crochet 6 into this round. But that is just to let you guys know, because while I do this, I'm actually going to throw something on the screen right now, because how you do the dirt is the same first 5 rounds of the pot. So we're just going to increase until there is 3 single crochet between our increases. So it is literally the same first 5 rounds as the pot. So if you wanted to just pause it right here, you could do that. If you wanted to take a screenshot, you could do that as well, because I'm going to finish this dirt. Let's see, let's count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to finish this off camera because I believe you guys could do it. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back at the end of round 5. Okay, so once you have your dirt made, this is 5 rounds, and you have it slip stitched in right here, you're going to chain 1 and pull that, and you are going to leave enough on here to sew around this. So what I like to do is I like to go around here twice, like about that, and we're going to cut it right about there. Now we're going to take this chain and we're going to just pull this through. Now I have already sewn in the back of this through the loops right here and give it a little trim. Like I said, you don't have to do it super close. It's going to be underneath. So go ahead and do that if you haven't done that already. Now, grabbing our basket, and I'm going to put a little bit of fiber fill in this, and you can do this now or do this later. Just don't forget to do it. And I'm going to, let's see, put this in about right there. If you find that it gets into your way, then save it to the end. It's fine, but I like to have it in there because I feel like it holds the dirt up and it helps me when I'm sewing. So this is onto the sewing part. So we're going to thread our needle. And the right side facing up. how I like to do this first is I'm going to go through this stitch right here, the last stitch we just did, and I'm going to pull that through. And I'm going to start just off to the side of the strap and just get you good. Let's move our light. There we go. So this is where we're coming out at right here. And we're going to go into the back loops of the top round, right? So right here. And I'm going to put my needle in here and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So remember where we put a stitch marker to mark the loops when we were trying to keep track of our rows? That's exactly where we're going to sew into. So I'm into the back of them. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go into this V right here of the back of the top of the stitch of the last round right here. So into the back of that V, and I'm going to pull my yarn through. Now, because let's see, we came out of this first stitch of the round right here. This is where our yarn is coming out of. You can see that. So we're going to go into the next stitch, which is right here. We're going to go through the back of it and we're going to come out the front. Okay. Now let's see, where's the next one? So that's where we went in, right? So the next one is right here. So you're going to take your needle and you should be going through a V, an upside down V. Right there. Okay. And if you wanted to go like that and then straight into the back of the next stitch, you could do that to get them both in one fell swoop. Just make sure that you're keeping this yarn from wrapping around there. I believe this is called a whip stitch. I'm not exactly sure. So we're going to go through the V right here of the next stitch and back up through this right there. And a little bit of cotton's coming out, but that's fine. That's okay. Now into the next one, just right there. Just the V right there. And then into C. So now it's super easy to see where the string is coming out of our last stitch, right? So now you know exactly what stitch to go into on the next one. So pulling that through right there. There you go. And now the next one's right here. And you should be able to do this all the way around without an issue. So just keep going. You're going to go into the V right there and back through this stitch right there. Through the V. And if you need to just pull it through, go ahead and do that. Just don't forget to go back through the dirt. Okay? Big plane going by right now. There we go. We're going to go through the V and back through the next stitch. I apologize if you guys can hear my boyfriend. He's playing video games with his friends. I hope you guys can't hear him. But anyways, through the V and back through the stitch. And I will meet you guys right here in case you have issues. Okay. So right here, in case you were having issues, we're going to do the same thing. I just know that, I mean, this isn't the side that we sewed on. I mean, actually, it might be for you, depending on what side you started. So we're just going to follow those V's straight across and make sure that you're not going up. And one thing I actually noticed was that we started on the second row down, not the top, which is fine. It'll give it more of a 3D look, 3D effect, like a little pot. But if you started on the second row down like me, that's fine. But I definitely misspoke. So let's see. Yep, so this might be little bit of an issue because this is the seam right here. So just get it the best you can, because I can see very clearly the next clear one is right here. This is like the slip stitch area. But I'm still, make sure that you go into the back loops only, because we do not want this dirt to show. And if you notice, it is not showing because we're going into the back loops only. So we're going to just continue that. I'm going to go into the back loop right here and in through this next stitch. And that brought me over. I'm going to go right there into the next stitch. There we go. Let's see. Right there. So this next few stitches right here. We're doing good. It's really quiet in my house right now. But here we go, back through the V and through the stitches. Right there. Back through the stitch. Came out this one, so I'm going through this one. Back through the V, in through the stitches. And hopefully you guys are getting this okay. It is very low sew, but I feel like it just looks so much cleaner and better when the dirt is not showing through the pot. And I feel like this little bit of sewing is definitely worth it for a nice clean product at the end. So honestly, right here is where, if you want to stuff it, you might want to stuff it a little bit more. But just keep in mind that if you stuff it too much, this is going to create a mound of dirt. And since we gave it that little 3D look, we kind of want it to stay down a little bit. So I think that's good for me. I don't want to overstuff this, maybe a little bit more. As I say that, I felt the side of it. It just felt empty over there. And one thing I like to do, if you guys have an amigurumi stick, I bought mine off of Etsy, but I like to take my amigurumi stick and I just go in here and I stab the fiberfill just to get rid of any clumps. Yep, I think that's good. All right, I'm going to finish up closing this. Through the V and through the stitches. And like I said, don't be worried about the fiberfill. You can always just pull that out like that, because we are going to crochet the cactus into here next. And the reason why I like to sew this on first before I do the cactus, because could you imagine trying to sew this in with a big fat cactus right here? That would not be fun. So we're not going to do that. Everything is going to be nice and prepared for when the cactus gets put on. So these are the last few stitches right here. Make sure you're going through the back. That back V, sorry if I went off camera right there. Still new to this. Right there, and this going right back into that right there. Okay, and now we are done. We're done. So if you want to, this is what I always do, is I just go through that again, and we're just going to create a knot right here. Just going to get that nice and tight. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick this down into there, all the way through to the other side. I'm going to pull this nice and tight. Okay, I'm going to pull that nice and tight so that when I snip this off, it lets go and it hides in there. And now we have our pot of dirt. How cute is that? And if you followed along, all of the, move this out of the way, all of the dirt should be hidden. There should be no dirt showing. All right, let's move on to the cactus. So grab your green yarn and your hook. Okay, so to make the cactus, we're going to crochet it in and we're going to attach our yarn between rounds 3 and 4. And we are going to be working around the entire stitch of it. So I will show you exactly what I mean. So this is round 1, 2, 3, and 4. So right in between 3 and 4, anywhere on here, I'm going to choose right here. So once again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to stab right there and I'm going to go around this entire stitch right here. And I'm going to grab my green yarn and I am going to pull it through. Oops, pull it through. Now we are going to chain 1. And we want to make sure that we are working around the outside because we cannot flip this over. So we're going to go back into that same stitch and grabbing, so going back into that same stitch, grab this yarn, pull it through, and we're going to do a single crochet. Now you might want to be going this way because that's natural and this is how we work, but that would make the inside of it the right side and that's not what we're doing. So we're going to turn. Now staying into this row, so between row 3 and 4, we're going to go in between to the next stitch right here. And we're going to do the same thing. Keep this yarn around there. We're going to keep our tail in our stitches so that there's no sewing involved later. So you're going to go around that stitch and you're going to do another single crochet. Go around the next one, keeping that in there. You're going to do a single crochet. We're going to do this all the way around so that by the end of it, we will have 18. So go into the next stitch right there. Carry this around with you. Do a single crochet. Now, if you want to let go of this, you can. I'm going to keep it in for a couple more stitches. Single crochet. And go around the next one. Go around the next one. I'm going to do a single crochet. Now I'm good to let that go. Try to keep that out of my way now. It shouldn't be hard after this next one. So we're going to go into the next one. We're going to go around and do a single crochet. Into the next one. Now you see, you should be able to make sure that we're staying in between the round that we want to stay in between, because we are forming the base of our cactus right now. So we're going to go in there into the next one, single crochet. Like I said, it might look complicated, but it shouldn't be. Just go in there and go right around the post of that round right there, of that single crochet, and you're going to keep doing this all the way around. And it's okay if you're pulling the dirt up, don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. It's going to all work out in the end. So we just got a few more stitches left. And when you get to the, because like this is our seam right here, I started right there. Like I said, we're going to have 18 of these. So one more, I think. Let's go ahead and count after this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm going to give this a nice little pull, pulling that nice and tight. So actually, let me recount that. Nothing just gets in my way. 16, 17. Okay, so this right here is the first single crochet of the last round. And if you're having issue right now, we're going to single crochet 1. Let me just get through that real quick. But if you don't like this little hole or whatever, if you wanted to single crochet an extra one right here and then skip this one and work into here, that is fine. The point is to have 18. So we single crocheted 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to use our stitch marker and we're going to mark that first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to mark that outside V. This is how we mark our stitches, our rounds, right there. And this is the beginning of round 2. But basically the point is to have 18 stitches around so that it's even when we do our closing later. So for right now, you're just going to single crochet in every stitch all the way around. Again, ignoring that stitch marker, and row 2 through 7 are just single crochets all the way around. We are working the length of our cactus, and this is what's going to make it nice and big. And at some point, if this little guy gets in your way, you can just snip him off since we sewed him in, since we crocheted around him rather. But yeah, let's see. Let's just get around to this. I'll do this first round with you right here, or round 2, I mean. So we're just single crocheting all the way around. Into this next one. We're just going to ignore him, right? And we're going in. Might be hard to ignore, but he's there. There you go. Ignore him again. And just keep going. Single crochet all the way around. And so, as you can tell, so this was our foundation chain, or foundation stitch. This is round 1. This is round 2. This is round 3. So we're going to do 7 rows of these. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I will meet you at the end of round 7. Okay, so at this point, we are going to stuff. We have 7 rows, so, or yeah, 7 rows. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have stopped right before the 7th. So if you want to take out your stitch marker, you can. And we're going to stuff this little cactus. If you stuff it too much, you will spread apart the stitches, so make sure you don't do that. And we are going to close it now. So this is the last round, and we are going to do a single crochet and then a single crochet invisible decrease, and I will show you how to do that. So number 1, single crochet, And then an invisible decrease is we're just done into the front loops right here of the next 2 stitches. So you're going to go in from the bottom, go in from the bottom into the middle right there. You're going to yarn over and pull through both of those. And then you're going to yarn over and go through the last 2. And this is where I usually put in my stitch marker into, let's see, we just did our decrease, and that was the single crochet that we started the round with. So I'm going to mark this first stitch that we did the single crochet at the beginning of the round and continue around. So single crochet 1 and then another invisible decrease. Single crochet 1, invisible decrease. And we're going to do this all the way around. I'm going to do it with you. We got our decrease right there. Single crochet 1. And just like always, if you're ending on an increase, you're ending on a decrease. And this is why it's important to have 18 stitches. Otherwise, it will be all wonky. Trust me, I've had it happen. So now that we have that, we are going to sew this closed. This was the last round, so you can take out your stitch marker. I like to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. We're going to chain 1, pull that, and leave yourself off some yarn for sewing. And we're just going to pull that. Okay. So if you want to put in a little bit more stuffing at this time, this is your very last chance. It's going to be nice and firm. We want this cactus part to be nice and firm. While this part might be a little loose, the cactus is not going to be. Okay, so at this point, you're going to put on your darning needle, and we're going to sew this closed. And so you're just going to, we're going to work into the outside, the front loops only. Honestly, this is how I do this. So we're going to go through that one and go through this one. So we're going to go up and down. And it might be easier if you go like that. Oops, totally off camera. Easier if you go like that to remember which one you're going up and then down. I feel like when you do it this way, it closes it a lot more clean than going around the entire stitches. So we're going to go up through the entire stitch and down through the middle. Maybe up one more time through the last one. Now, as we close it, I just think that looks nice and clean. I like it. Okay, so now we're going to pull that nice and tight, and we're going to go around a couple loops right here. Just pick one really close to there to go around, and we're going to tie this in a knot. So since this is actually already going through there, I'm just going to pull this closed, nice and tight. Okay, now I'm just going to shove this back down in there, and I'm going to go all the way through the pot, throughout the bottom of the entire thing. And it's okay if it looks a little wonky. You can reshape it. We want it to be nice and tight so that when we cut this, it just goes right back in and hides itself. See, that's gone. Now you can reshape this a little bit. Now it's time to do the flower, which is also very easy. Okay, so you're going to cut off a length of pink yarn, And this is not going to be connected to the skein anymore. You're going to have a nice, good little length. I probably have way too much here, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through just the side anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's going to be hidden. So if you want to go through the bottom, we can do that too. But we're going to go all the way through the whole thing. And I like to put my flowers on either side. So one here and one there. And you're just going to go through. And what we're going to do is we're going to make an X. So I'm going to pick a stitch probably about right there. And this was our closing round. This was round 7. So this is probably round 6. I'm just going to go through right here. I'm just going to keep pulling that, leave a length out. So this is for tying later. So from right here, I'm going to be making an X, and I'll show you how I do it. I'm going to go into this next stitch right here, and I'm going to come out the one on to the left of where I'm out. So going into the right and coming out onto the left. Okay, now we have one petal. Now we're going to go back in to this same hole right here to make our next petal, but you got to pick where your next petal is going to come from, and mine's going to come from this hole right here. So I'm going to go up, and it's going to be going right around this stitch right here. Right there. And now we're going to go back in and then come back out right there. And this is going to make our first flower. And we're going to go back in and we're going to pick where our other flower is going to be, probably about on the opposite, probably about right, nope, probably about right there. And you're going to make sure you're going into a hole right there. Okay. So we're going to pull this through. And there you go. There's a flower. Isn't that adorable? And you can do one. I'm going to do 2. You can, I don't know how many they have, but you can do however many you want. And this step is honestly completely optional. You don't have to put a flower on if you don't want to. But remember, we're going to go to the right and then go to the left, and we're going to always go back into the center. So we're going to go up here. This is where our top petal is going to come out at. There we go. Going right back in. We're going to go right back out of the bottom. And we're making like a little plus sign. There we go. And now for this last one, I'm going to come right back out here out of the same hole that this is coming out of. So we're going to push this all the way back through. Make sure you're not going out of the cactus at all. We're staying inside the cactus, through the pot, all the way, coming out the same hole, because we're going to tie this together, and there we go, into a knot. And we don't want any pink showing. Okay, let's see, pull that, there we go. Now make sure you didn't pull too tight because we want this to stand up nice and straight. Very nice, okay. So I'm going to take off my darning needle now. I'm going to cut this about right here. Get rid of all this excess. And now I'm going to tie this into a double knot. Just right there. Pull that one nice and tight. Now I'm going to go through with the needle with both of these strings right here. And we're just going right back into that same hole, okay? And we're just gonna, if you want to come back through the cactus, you can, doesn't matter. If you want to just stay in the pot, we might just do that actually. So we're just gonna do this, come out the side. There we go. If I can get it all, there we go. Now I'm just going to snip this off. You want to, so again, I didn't want to pull it too tight because I don't want that knot coming out. And honestly, yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to go back up through the cactus. I feel like that would give it a little bit more of a security So I'm going to go right back through that same hole, and I'm just going to go right back up into the middle of the cactus. I'm going to come back up, oops, on the side somewhere. I feel like this is going to give it a little bit more security. There we go. There we go. I did not like that. Okay, much better. I feel better about this. Now I'm going to pull this tight, and I am going to cut this nice and close. Be very careful. Don't cut your cactus. Stuff that back in there. There we go. Okay, you're done. Yay. Look what you created now. You made a little hanging cactus that now can go into your car. Everybody's going to ask where you got that, and you're going to be like, I made it. Make sure you tell them where to go if they want to learn how to make it. I came up with this pattern last night for you guys because I had a couple comments asking about it. I had done it originally freehand, but I was like, okay, we'll do a little pattern. So I love it. I think this is gorgeous. I sell these. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. It does help grow my page. I'm growing here on YouTube, and I appreciate every single one of you. Yeah, I hope you really liked this. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun to make. They're just so squishy. You could put little eyeballs in it if you wanted to. Give it a little happy face. Make it a happy little cactus for your car. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.